Well, this is it. We are live across the world. Another episode of the LinkedIn Teardown podcast, where we basically interview some of the world's best LinkedIn creators, essentially business people that understand marketing, sales, and everything else in between. So I'm super excited to have Peter Wood, our guest today, who is the founder of the Graduate Guide, which is one of the most informative, exciting events and media businesses, kind of educating, supporting graduates when they get to that position in their life where they now have a piece of paper, but what the hell do you do with that piece of paper? So just if you haven't seen this format before, the LinkedIn Teardown is where we basically review Peter's LinkedIn profile. Peter then will review mine, and we see what we can come out with in terms of learnings, tips between us. And then there's just a general, discussion of interest, business, life, career, and all that good stuff. So, Peter, thanks for being on the show. How you doing?
Very good. Thanks for having me on. I think we made it happen literally the same day you reached out. So yeah, moving quickly, but I'm here for it.
But look, that's a great point, right? It's like you got to say yes more often, and you got to take advantage of the opportunity. And here we are, making a new connection because of that. And that's the kind of the power of being curious and being proactive as we talk. So. People are here for the teardown, so we will start there. So I'm going to share my screen, and we are going to hit Peter's LinkedIn profile. So now we're under the spotlight. This is where the scrutiny is. Can you see that, Peter?
Wait. Yes, yeah. I can see my own profile now. Yeah.
This is you. This is Peter Woods, apparently the founder and CEO of the Graduate Guide. And there you are. Now, the way I like to start this off is let's see if there's a disconnect between who you say you are and what LinkedIn says you are. So can you just share with us, what is the Graduate Guide? What is its mission, purpose? What do you guys do?
So the Graduate Guide started off very simply as my own personal desire to find out all the different routes you can take in a career and actually learn those from the people that have been there and done it. And I really wanted to sort of do that on behalf of other students and bring them along on this journey with me. And I think a lot of people start a podcast nowadays with the intention of it being this big viral success or getting famous. And I think for myself, I was just I knew how difficult it was to stand out in this job market, and I wanted to really try and get good at something that I thought I could be good at, which is telling stories and through a lens that hasn't really been done before. And yeah, being a personable person, I suppose. And yeah, what it's kind of over the last 2 years grown into is a company that is trying to solve the UK career crisis that we're living through the power of community, both online and in person. So, we do really sort of unique events for graduates where we're sort of taking the amazing professional network that I've built over the last 2 years and actually pairing it with students in a way that it's not just somebody giving a keynote speech and students sort of aimlessly listening and then leaving at the end feeling like they've not learned anything. It's actually giving them the opportunity to engage and have conversations with these people that actually really do care about helping them and do know far more of the answers just through lived experience. And yeah, we partner with the likes of Google and great companies like Zero Gravity as well on that. And yeah, we've got some exciting things in the works for how we progress.
All right, well, hold that thought. Let's come back to it. Okay, so what you sound like you've got is a media company with a podcast and events business. Is that it?
Yes, yeah. Put it simply.
Right. Let's hit LinkedIn. This is first response, right? So, okay, Graduate Guide. You have a logo, lucky you, right? I think this real estate right now on LinkedIn is phenomenally powerful. Could you have a call to action there? Could there be a tagline? Could there be the Google logo? Could there be how many listeners have you got a month or a year? Give me a stat in your business.
So we reach around 3 million people a year.
Well, there you go. Yeah. Let's and what's your tagline for the Graduate Guide?
Solving the UK career crisis through the power of community.
Well, there you go. Solving the UK career crisis through the power of community. 3 million listeners. sponsored by Google, boom, 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 boom. Already, you're going to draw more people in.
Yeah, no, it's a fair point. Yeah.
Okay. So the photo, when was that photo taken?
Pretty recently, to be fair. Like, I mean, I think if you think this is like there's improvements there, looking back, over the last years, it's almost comical. Like, the quality. I had my graduation picture on there for like 4 months. Looks ridiculous. Pictures on nights out. The classic thing when you just start and you're learning on the job, and also the iterations of the graduate guide logo. Like, turns out it's expensive to do that stuff. As I found out. But before that, it was like Canva. It was like whatever you could throw together. So I think it's funny for anyone who's been following since the beginning to see it now. It definitely is improved.
Well, there you go. And look, and to be fair, you look like your photo, which is always a good start, right? So that's a good thing. I think that's fine. Founder and CEO, the Graduate Guide, UCL. Obviously, that's where you went to uni. What's EWOR?
So EWOR I'm a venture partner. It's like the YC equivalent, YC Combinator equivalent in Europe. So they have like basically all the biggest sort of unicorn founders in Europe as angel investors and part of their team, and I help scout talent for them on a part-time basis.
Got it. Okay. No one else is going to know what that means.
Sure. Unless
right?
you know EWOR, yeah.
Unless you know what it is, right? Which you would argue, well, if you're wearing, I'm trying to think of I'm not that into fashion, but a fashion brand that doesn't have a logo, right? Like you're in the in club. The argument is though, like, again, it depends what the story you want to tell is. And, is it interesting to your audience? And the key thing, attracting a new audience that you're in venture right on this, like if we call this like, the top key piece of real estate on LinkedIn.
Sure.
So that's just a thought. Okay. A few people, in fact, Tom Hunt is coming on the show.
Okay, good.
And Nick, Rory's co-founder from Trumpet, is coming on. I work with him. So anyway, highlights. Okay. I think that's because we both share a group. Let's just talk about LinkedIn groups, because I worked at LinkedIn. This is the most upsetting part of LinkedIn ever, in my opinion. They've never cracked it. They've never been bothered about it. And it annoys me no end. But do you get any value from LinkedIn groups?
I honestly, yeah, I mean, since the day I've joined that one that we're both part of, I wouldn't have known if I was part of it. And it does seem like, it's something, it's funny you mentioned it. It seems like a waste of potential, right? Like, it seems like a way to actually clean up your feed which I feel like my feed does need cleaning up. Like I just get some sort of gurus and personal branding, samey content, and I wish I could use groups to actually just purely consume information from people I actually want to consume it from. But yeah, if I was speaking to LinkedIn, that's definitely one of the things I'd highlight.
Hold on, this is going to be funny if this is who I think it is. We just talked about Tom Hunt, and there he is on my LinkedIn. Shout out to Tom Hunt. Shout out to Mark. Okay, cool. Let's move it on. Right. So, about you, ski instructor, confused history student, explored startups, building the Graduate Guide. What the fuck does that? What's the point of that?
My whole thing, and I'm not saying this is the right way of going about it, but like, I find it very difficult to be salesy, like on LinkedIn. Like my brand is not that, and I think people know that. I think I've always kind of played this humble card, or like that. I never really know what I'm doing, and people can come along on that journey with me, and I don't want to lose touch of that. Yes, I like to think the interviews, the people I have on, the interaction I get, the impact we're having talks for itself. But when it comes to there's nothing more off-putting for me as a consumer when I just see someone like splurge a load of stuff at you, and you're like, I don't know. It just I feel like that is, if you were to meet me and I were to explain what I do, that would be my sort of, okay, that's my quick summary of what my career journey's been. I think as I go on, I probably will add a few more plugs and whatnot. But yeah, that's it for now.
All right, that's interesting. And let's be, talking about when we get on showing you. It'd be funny when we do mine because you're cool out. And you, by the way, you're going to get to do this for me. So this is how it goes. All right, featured. Do you know about this section of featured posts? Do you know that you can actually decide what goes in this place?
Yeah.
Right, like we won't go through all of them. Looks like some. Tell us a story about a couple of things here that stand out to you that are interesting to you or important.
So that first one was a big day because it was the first time that I actually acknowledged I was accepting the Graduate Guide as a company that I could build, and it wasn't just this passion project that I did on the side. And it was sort of just giving people an insight into why I felt like I could do it now more than ever. Trying to be as like transparent as possible, saying that I know there's going to be failures, and really just indicating that I'm going to be building my business in public with everybody else.
That's great. And look, and you can tell because it's genuine. You can tell for those that are novices to LinkedIn, like it's well written. There's a couple of things you know when someone knows LinkedIn, because it's actually very difficult to bold on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Like you got to know that
you have to pay to do it.
How do you actually? I still don't know it. How do you do that? Don't you have to get it from some system?
No, so I use a Google Chrome plugin called Upwork. It's so much. It's more than just bolding your text and putting italics on it and stuff like that. It gives you like analytics that you would never see, and it gives you like an idea of what posts work, why they work. Like if you are trying to take it seriously, you can get a 14-day free trial, and then it's like £10 a month. And for me, the amount I post, it's definitely worth it.
Let's get it up for people. What's it called?
Upwork. So Upwork, all one word.
Okay, Upwork. I thought that was something else, but it's not Upwork.com. Let's share this tab for a moment. Is this the right Upwork or is this a different Upwork?
I think that's a different one. I spelled it. Let me see if I can find it.
Well, while you're doing that, because very well written, space, great hook. I quit my job to build a passion project. Some achievements, some humble brags. We like that. Understanding what you're solving. You're being savvy because you updated your position with a photo. People don't know they can actually include an image often. And these posts notify your network. So I'm not surprised that you've got a huge amount of engagement. Let's see if you engage with your audience.
Yeah.
Yes, he does. He responds to everyone. So that's a good sign as well. So this is a pro we've got on here, people. So really good tips here. Have you got the tool? What's the tool?
It's kind of. I mean, I've got it on my.
You don't know what.
If I could, it says. Okay, I actually don't know how to find this out.
Well, he's not that much of a pro, right?
Sorry. Tell a lie. It's called Authored Up. That was Authored Up.
How do you spell it?
So author, how you spell it? ED and then up.
.com.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Sorry about that. Anyone?
Oh no, I think I've spelled it wrong. Hold on, spell that again because I can't spell. Here we go. This is the one. All right. No.
If you just Google it, it'll probably come up better.
All right. Let's do there we go. Okay, fine. Let's have a look at this tool. The ultimate LinkedIn content creation. Wow. Okay, this is new to me. Completely.
It's an absolute game changer, really.
Scheduler, poster, analytics as well. Did you ever hear of Shield app? Shield.app?
No. I mean, I'm literally. I think I've been on LinkedIn been posting for just over a year and a half. So, I'm still pretty new to all this as well.
Well, this is the great thing. I can see, All right. Well, there you go. There's a plug for Authored. I think I'm going to become an affiliate after this. Okay, so let's continue on this journey. Right, posts, comments, video, images, articles. Let's see if he's done any articles. He has. When was this written? Peter?
I was at my previous job. I used, before I went full time on it, I was putting on hackathons in the UK and the US for a company called EZA, which is essentially like Duolingo, but for learning how to code. And my graduate job was to literally single handedly put on 2-day, 48 hours non-stop events for coders.
Okay.
I don't know how I ended up there, but that is just the definition or the epitome of me throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what stuck in my career.
Fair enough. Do you have a newsletter on LinkedIn?
So we're actually launching our newsletter tomorrow, as it happens.
On LinkedIn?
Well, yeah, we're announcing a Google event, and we're doing it in tandem with that. So people have always said, like, why haven't you got these things? But I've always just been really conscious of holding off until I've got the right amount of value to give, because I think some people like to just do things. There's this culture online right now where it's just like, as soon as you've got a bit of an audience and you think you've got some information, sell a course to people. Like, I've never monetized my audience, and the only way that I do it is just by like really, now I feel ready to actually deliver value that is worth paying for, and that took 2 years.
Wow. And so do you have interest? Do you use an agency? Do you have like an influencer agency, or you like brand deals? How are you looking to monetize things?
Yeah, so the future of the Graduate is going to be co-owned communities. So I'm launching one called Grads Building Companies with, I think, James Roycroft, who actually put us together. Obviously, we do have event sponsors which have been giving us a nice amount of runway. In the past, we've taken sponsorship on the podcast, but we've really been taking a step back, knowing that we have some runway, and actually thinking, okay, what could this be as a company more than just a podcast and events company? And we're getting very, very close to clarity on how we can cause like genuine change in the early careers world. And if I were to try and walk you through it completely now, it would be a bit pointless, because there's still a lot of things that have to be done. But
all right, well, look, you can come back on the show.
Yeah, 100%.
So, but I'm guessing your team, you just so you know, you can publish an article. Everyone should have their own newsletter if they are already adding a value and they're doing that in an email. Because the cool thing about LinkedIn has your email, and a lot of people turn off phone, mobile notifications, or don't have the app. But when you launch your newsletter on LinkedIn, they will promote it, and I can show you that in a minute. Okay, so images. Okay. Fine, we're going to come to that. Video. This is the one everyone's asking about right now. I mean, this looks ridiculous. What happened here? How did this go so viral?
Well, I can kind of explain that. I mean, I do these posts. I've got another one coming out tomorrow, and it's just how I kind of worked out this way to do event marketing on LinkedIn, where if you scroll to the top, this platform for students, having literally just been one a year ago, you came on LinkedIn and you saw emojis flying everywhere. You see personal branding gurus. You see successful people congratulating other successful people, and you think as a student, why would I be on here? Like, literally, what is this app? And that's what I thought literally the whole way through uni. And then I suddenly realized that nobody was speaking directly to them. And if you actually just say student networking opportunity or student job opportunity in bold, which already is a little bit like, okay, that's different. And then you have the universities that you're looking to reach and your logo, you're speaking like, you're just really cutting out the fluff and speaking directly to people you want to. And then the rest of the post are contextualizing why you're the person to give them that opportunity. Which event was this? This was this was like an event I did with my professional network, where I gave students the opportunity to be in that room, and that was the interest that came about.
I mean, come on, 534, over 1,400. This is a bot. Come on, let's just open up now. Let's be real. You are part of a LinkedIn bot farm.
I'm definitely not. I just think, like, there are quite a lot of people, if you looked online, whether that's like, say for example it's application season right now. If you put like, here's a successful JP Morgan application, comment your email, and I'll send it over to you. Like that's the whole new way of growing on LinkedIn, because people want it, people want to go. You get them to comment, it goes to their, it reaches more people. So that would be some advice to anyone looking to grow sort of big time on this platform.
Okay, I'm gonna have some fun with this in a minute. I'm gonna
But
surprise
also the
you.
beauty of LinkedIn as well, unlike Instagram and TikTok, is you can scroll through every single person who's commented there, and you can find out they're real people with doing real. With this is the difference of this platform. There are some personal branding bots, but like everybody has come on this platform and they put themselves out there. They say who they are, they say what they're studying, they say what job there is. So there's no hiding behind anything here.
Agreed, and I love that. And I mean, this is some really good stuff. I mean, the funny thing here is the video is like 3 seconds, but it's got obviously very graduate relevant logos on it with your own. This call to action here is beautiful, right? The interest, like it's a fantastic post, and when you start to analyze it, you look, as you say, the hook, highlighting ambition and a dream. This kind of plug about the graduate guide, how it flows. It's great. It's awesome. So kudos on that. Okay, so comments. Are you much of a commenter on other people's content? Seem to be here. Like, what's your view? How do you have LinkedIn on your mobile? How much time a day do you spend on LinkedIn?
Yeah, I mean, I have it on my phone. I actually am really, and it's not necessarily because I don't want to comment on other people's content, but I don't really consume that much content on here. And all the comments you see there are just me replying to people on my own posts. But I do like to scroll to see what other people are up to and take inspiration and everything like that. But yeah, I think this narrative that you have to grow, you have to be commenting all big people's posts every morning, and you have to be there at 9 a.m. And I don't know, like that feels like a weird way to live your life, in my opinion. I think just you can only get so obsessed with what's true on this platform. The rest of it's all real life, right? Like none of this would mean anything if I wasn't actually a good host, if I wasn't actually building these connections in person in the podcast studio and actually making moves to the business. Like you can't live on here.
That's true, and I think that's what I do also. Love about LinkedIn versus some of the other social media platforms. Like you get found out quite quickly if you're not an expert or credible, and when you are, you can really leverage it. Is there anything on here that embarrasses you that you've done in your career that's listed here?
I mean,
my other question is why is it still on there that you were a bartender between September 2019 and November 2019?
It's what I did. Like I honestly, I think it's funny in this day and age, like where everybody's trying to put like the spring weeks and summer internships and all the same things that everybody's doing. Like I think actually being able to convey why you are who you are through like smaller experiences, like being a ski instructor, being a bartender, they were massively important to why I am who I am today. Like learning how to speak to people who are older than me, learning how to like be a schmoozer, like just understanding people. That's more important really than a lot of other things. And I think the way that standing out in your career is going to going forwards is going to be leaning into those sort of less glossy experiences and actually trying to draw things out of them for storytelling purposes.
Okay, and I can see this. I can imagine this kind of what we call, I don't know, clean look. Kind of, I get that vibe from you. There's no summary under any of these roles. There's no explanation of what they are, what they do. Obviously, there's some interesting brands in there, and you can see your journey that you've been on, which I think is the interesting one. This is, representative of, as you say, the journey that you've been on. Let's be real, though. You went to one of the best schools in the country. You're obviously very bright. How much of an advantage has that been for you? Not everyone has got that pedigree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, like, by the way, I'm definitely not like I'm not one of those people that can just get good grades without doing any work like that. I'm very envious of the people that can do that. And I felt very out of my depth at UCL. Like the reason why I didn't really get much in my career between sort of 2020 and 2022 is because I was fixated on trying to compete with really intelligent people in a history degree. And the sooner that I sort of called bullshit on the relevance of a degree to my career, the more I actually I got my uni work done and actually focused on what I thought I could be good at. In terms of how much that kind of stuff helps you, like all of this stuff it is what you make of it. I know people that have gone to both those, to my school, to my university, that are having no success in their career because they either don't have the ambition to match it. They've been spoon fed their whole life, and they don't want to try and put. One thing I try and do is always surround myself with incredibly diverse and different people, and the proof is in the pudding. 200 plus episodes with a really eclectic group of people. Like, I'm fascinated by those stories where people have done it with very little support, and I try and sort of use the privilege that I've been afforded as a motivator to do more. And I'm not just saying that because it sounds good, but I think it just should be a more common practice, but I promise you it's not.
Okay, well, that's fair enough. So where do you want to take LinkedIn? You're at 15,467 followers. We're coming up to the end of 2024. What's LinkedIn's specific ambition for you in 2025? And what are some of the strategies or things that you're going to be bringing, to the audience on LinkedIn?
So I think pretty similarly to, if you were to really break down why anybody comes on this platform, it's jobs. It's some sense of community and finding like-minded individuals, and it's some sense of awareness of things that you didn't know before you went open that app. And I think we're positioned really well to lean into all of those things, and actually, we've got the sort of growth mechanisms in place and the trust from the audience. Most importantly, you couldn't do any of this stuff if you hadn't done the hard work where you just earn people's trust. But yeah, now it's really just going to be providing incredible job opportunities that you don't see on traditional job platforms, because you have to go and find them, and every day I'm speaking to people that need top grads, and luckily I know where they are. Building community, helping people get offline and in person. We have the facilities and the means to do that. So really going to be leaning into that. You see how well that post is done. There's going to be plenty more of those. And I think just continuing to put as many stories on LinkedIn. In the last 2 days, I've put out 2 interviews alone. One with, you can see those posts there, one with a partner at Boulderton Capital, one with the chief people officer at Newton. These are amazing brands and amazing stories, and I feel like the more I can tell, the more I can just keep growing and helping people work out what they actually want to do in their career.
Okay. Well, look, I mean, again, another example. This is extremely well written. I'm actually feeling inspired right now, and it has credibility, as you say. Well-known VC. I think social proof. I've built a lot of my, reputation and visibility by being associated with other great people. Right? It's a simple thing, but I think my lesson for people is you got to put yourself in the right room. You might not be ready to have a podcast. You might not be comfortable to be online like we are. But you have ambition. You've got to go and find where those people that you want to be are. And for me, that's in rooms, that's in circles that you might not have access to. But this is what I think is amazing now. I love the fact that I can get onto Insta or LinkedIn or TikTok, and the people that I follow, for example, I've just published my first book, How to Build Sales Confidence. Simon Squibb. I don't know if you follow Simon. Let's plug his book. He's here. He's just written a book, right? Yeah. I met him on a TikTok live.
Yeah.
We're mates, and then he wrote my book, and now we're promoting them together. Everything on this planet now that you want to achieve has been done by many, many people. So really, there's no excuse in some ways. Yeah, it's still so hard to figure out what you do and what you listen to and who you show. So we're all looking for a pathway, as it were. But I think, this is evidence, and it's clear for how successful you're becoming, that you've got to put yourself in the right room. Is anything that you would add to that, or any thoughts there?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big believer that you can't actually start building anything in your career till you have like your personal life ducks in order. Like you've created that mental threshold to even do anything alternative at all, or look anywhere alternative. Like for me, I had to like overcome sort of personal problems, be that breakups or family illness or whatever it is, and I couldn't do anything in my career, and I think that's kind of bits that people don't see in careers and your CV. Is like, oh, what happened in those years? It's not sexy to just say, oh, I actually just couldn't think of anything worse than trying to build my career then. And as soon as my personal life was back in order in my final year of university, I was all guns blazing. I was like, okay, right, I can do this. Like this is nothing to me now, and I'm just gonna go hell for leather. I'm trying to really build an online reputation, which I like to call it, not a personal brand. I like to call it an online reputation, because I think personal brand, what does it actually mean anymore? I think, the people that you surround yourself with, the people that you let yourself care about their opinion, all that kind of stuff, it allows you to actually jump on calls like this, speak on podcasts, all this kind of stuff, and not feel scared about what you're saying, because it's based in values of people that you really have looked up to and care about.
Yeah, mate, I love it. So, okay, look, some great advice here. What that's ChatGPT, isn't it? That image.
Oh, that one is, yeah. That's a silly post that I put out where like I just wanted to assess my community's appetite for a pub quiz, and I thought it could try and make people employable. But that's where you live and you learn. Like I think sort of 33 people were interested in that. I might still do it.
Okay, what's your opinion on AI, ChatGPT, or anything right now, and how are you using it or not day to day in your business, work, or life?
I mean, I'm such a poor adopter of AI in comparison to a lot of people, and it makes me feel quite bad about it sometimes. But I do think that you get a lot of reward for authenticity nowadays, like standing out from the crowd. So I like to just use it to automate, silly little things, like, whether that's working out how to actually cook a recipe, or, working out sort of good questions you should be asking in a questionnaire, or, or like helping you build your pitch deck, and all these kind of things that just would take so long. Like they just make it easy. But in terms of writing, I mean, I'm not actually the best at spelling or anything, and for some reason, I don't know if you I found this, but LinkedIn doesn't actually spell correct you, which I think is like another thing I'd raise with them. It's like it doesn't, when you write a post, it doesn't, or even a message to someone, it doesn't spell check you.
Do you not use Grammarly?
Okay, well there you go. I know it. I know what Grammarly is, but I don't.
So Grammarly just overlays your email and LinkedIn. So every time you type, it corrects you. It's beautiful. I might even be able to show people. So, because I'm pretty sure I'm not a great writer. I prefer to talk. Here we go. Let's see what happens.
Okay, yeah. Point noted. All right, I'll get on that.
There you go. And so, like, here's starting to give you some options. Now, there is this rewrite, and it's not kind of working.
Sort of one thing to add, like, just when I saw that on your screen, it reminded me, like, one of the things that annoys me most about AI right now, and especially how LinkedIn is using it, is when you connect with someone new and you go to message them, the initial prompt that you get is like, hey, blah, 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 we've been connected for some time, would you like to, or some message that no one would ever, or like if someone does reply to that, I don't know what's compelled them to do it, because I've never once replied to one of these automated messages, and it puts people on the immediate wrong foot in their networking journey.
This is a good point. So, like, I'm just going to change it up. So while we've been talking, I've been having a little play with, and I thought I want to be smarter than Peter. So I'm actually hosting an event, my book launch, on the 27th of November. I better plug it in a minute. But so I took my events post, right, and summarized it. I said, no, I don't want that. I then took your post. I said, rewrite my original post in your post format, and now
Okay.
it spat out that.
And what do you think? Which one's better?
Well, yours is, but no, as in, I'm using your framework. So now that is my post for tomorrow.
Mm,
How do you feel
that's
about it?
interesting. Yeah, well, I think that is a. I've heard of people doing that, but again, it's like one of these things that, yeah, I kind of just like writing for myself. Though, do you know what I mean? Like,
But you found a way to write yourself, right? And you enjoy it, and you're nailing it, right? Now,
yeah, but for other people, yeah,
there's a whole group that, in fact, there was when I used to work at LinkedIn. There was always this stat. I never knew how accurate it was, but of the full platform, only 1% of people actually create and post, right? How accurate that these days it is. It seems like everyone's posting, but actually they're not. Like it's
yeah,
really not like that. So, but there is a framework, and trust me for doing this for 7 years, well, longer than I've been around than you. Like there are things that just work better in certain parts of the year for LinkedIn because they change things. And you've nailed on something, the hook, a kind of call to action, a engagement, drop a comment or DM me. Right, this still needs a human touch.
yeah,
But the fact is, I wouldn't be able to do that myself because I don't have that ability. So this is where, for me, the AI and stuff. Like I've got this plugin here called Viral LinkedIn Posts. I think my message here to people right now is that AI is here, and I don't think really now ignorance is bliss around it. Like you cannot afford not to understand and apply AI to your work and life. And for me, any business that is being created in this time has to have AI in its DNA.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's well, yeah, like you said. I think if you don't adopt it in any way, you are just going to fall behind. That definitely, and I think it's all about also, if mine might be writing and expressing myself, like there are hundreds of other things that I can't do very well. And I think with leveraging AI, it's about working out what you are just at your core very good at and not using AI for it. And then actually working out, you know, your own use cases for how it will just automate something you'll never be good at.
I like it. All right, tell me about me. Who am I from what you see on my LinkedIn profile? What do you like? What do you don't like? Be brutal. I've just spent 40 minutes going through you. We've only got 10
Yeah.
minutes. Like, I'm just curious because
I mean, I guess I know you've been on this platform for longer and you've maybe seen different things that work, but like is your main ambition with LinkedIn to sell?
good question. Well, one, I run the largest sales community in Europe, so I am like my DNA is sales, and I'm a promoter, right? So I guess ultimately I want to engage my audience, but yeah, I do want to grow my business via LinkedIn. For me, it is a lead generation platform. It's a marketing platform. I find there's a lot of people that are very sensitive to the LinkedIn. Like, I never add anyone I've never met, and I like my 250 mates on there. Like,
Yeah.
my mates are in my WhatsApp, to be honest, and that's a conversation for another day. But like, really, this is a marketing channel. But go on, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, well, for one, like your picture could definitely be better quality. I think even like if you're talking about my picture look like you got a nice new haircut, like you can't really see your face. There's a mic in the way. I think like that kind of stuff could easily be improved with just like 70 quid just as a professional photographer, or you can even come into my office and I'll take it for you if you want. I like for me, like I think there is absolutely nothing wrong with your page, and I think if you are trying to use it for the purpose, it probably the purpose of sales is optimized. But there's an element of like you've got 37K followers, like you've got all these renowned companies and groups, I think you've got the ability to kind of not have to be a salesy, because I think when you're renowned and you're reputable, especially if you look at some of the biggest accounts, like I feel like they don't try and be as salesy, because they just know that people are awesome. You have that gravitas about them.
I'll take that on board. I mean, it's for me, it's true. I personally, like, I always joke, like, I want on my tombstone to say he's a try hard, because that's one thing people can never take away from me. But I often try too hard, actually. And I think it is off-putting, because I'm already an energetic guy. I'm already outgoing. I already back myself, you know. And so I think it's sometimes your truth needs to speak for itself without telling people it. Maybe is the lesson here. Okay.
Yeah.
What else?
And in the about section, I mean, I'm not sure I'd put my WhatsApp on my LinkedIn, but I guess that's your choice. Is that your personal number?
No, it's business.
Okay, right, that's fine then. But yeah, I mean, you can use the same authored up thing to bold your about section. I know who am I to say that, because my about section is like 10 words, but I think, like, I find it quite difficult just to look at no difference in, yeah, there's a few emojis, but it's all kind of just words, and already it's a little bit paralyzing to actually read through it all, or it like prevents the skimmability of it. And I think having to play around with different bolds and different italics, and even just seeing if you can slightly cut down the word count, you know, and really focus on the important things. You know, granted, you've got a lot to sell, so you do need to kind of have it all on there. But do you know what I mean? Like, just that's just my personal opinion.
No, mate. This is why we're doing it, right? So it's good fun. So my chat, because actually it's funny now. It's funny when you just pause, isn't it? You just start looking at this stuff.
Yeah.
I stare at it every day, but until you get like a third party, this is why I think this show is going to blow up.
I like the concept. It's cool. I really like it.
Yeah. So like because I'm now looking at it like, Jesus, like, what are you on about? Like, and because one of the things that annoys me, I do a lot of speaking. And
also, another thing is, you've got somebody, you're talking as if it's somebody writing something about you. Like, he has 3 children. Like, automatically, I think I'd rather hear it from an I perspective.
Well, this is what I was going to go on. So, as you can say, it literally says speaker bio. I'm annoyed. I get annoyed that I always have to send my bio over to someone when I'm doing a talk.
Okay, yeah.
What I've done is I literally copy and paste it there, and I just go to my LinkedIn profile. So that's how lazy that is.
Okay, yeah, that does make more sense. I haven't quite got to that point yet.
So, okay, valid. Let's jump onto this, because this is how this show started. Oh, this was the impetus. So I basically, created this list of the top 20 LinkedIn creators in the world.
What was that based off? Just pure following?
No, really, it was based on. There's no science to this. Like, for those that are watching, part of the reason I do what I do, like speaking to you, right? A lot of these people would never give me an hour of their time if I tried to cold call them or email them or get an intro. But you put them on a list that, hundreds of thousands of people see against other people in the industry, suddenly they talk to you. So I am actually personal friends with a lot of these people. So that's, there is.
Can I ask a question? Because you said you know Simon. Somebody told me the other day that his aim is to literally make the new LinkedIn. Is that true?
Yeah. So he has a platform called HelpBank, which essentially is a free-to-use platform for people that want to start and grow businesses. Now, his kind of often in competition in business, you've got to have a David and Goliath story. For him to take on a multi-billion-dollar business that was sold to Microsoft for $28 billion, well, that's going to inflate his valuation. Now, I love Simon. Oh, this is hard to say. I don't love HelpDesk or HelpBank right now. But I like his philosophy, and I like what his ethos is and what he's trying to build. So yeah, it's interesting that you point out him. Anyone else that you recognise that you like? He's interesting or she's interesting.
I mean, Harry Stebbins, of course, is a little bit of like a, I see a bit of myself in him, like in terms of where what I'm doing could go. Obviously there's a different intention with why I'm doing it. Like I didn't build it to make a VC, but it definitely is all just like try and talk to as many people, and you could tell that he's doing it for himself. He might be getting loads of views, but he's doing it like, and I think that's why podcasting is great. Like vanity metrics are nice to have, but he's like made a killing of a career, and it's like the best model for a VC because it's been born out of a podcast, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's super impressive. It's funny, I've followed him for forever because he's been around.
Yeah,
In this
I'm
space.
interviewing his brother soon, actually.
Oh, what does his brother do?
They do the Sports 20 VC podcast together, like they interview like sport leaders. And he's a little bit more accessible than Harry. He's still got a great following and everything, but I just think like I've not told many stories of careers in sports, and it's going to be a really interesting conversation.
Interesting. Anyone else?
Well, I know Chris Donnelly. He's part of like I guess he's like in the same sort of cohort as James. I know that like he's just blown up beyond belief, and it's kind of like it doesn't even make any sense to me. And yeah, I mean, do you know what? Like, I actually don't read any of these guys' posts. I think that's because they're just so. I don't know. I think they just speak. They have to be so populist. Does that make sense? And
Yeah,
that's not like.
So just to my industry is sales, marketing, and AI, right? Like it's added on the AI, like I know what I'm talking about. But that's kind of so these really represent, in my opinion, some of the best creators in the sales and marketing space. Like this guy, Adam Robinson, you should follow him. He's killing it on LinkedIn in the US right now. Like he's got a production team. He's very like big on video. He's built a few kind of bootstrap businesses. He builds in public, so he reveals his monthly bank details of like a growth company. So he's particularly interesting. This guy's interesting. Banff. There used to be a guy, and if anyone watches this and can tell me where Josh Fletcher is, please do. So, it's funny because if I go back 7 years when I was at LinkedIn, when you couldn't even post a status update, you got to remember, like LinkedIn used to be just a phone book and a contacts book and a job board. Like it's evolved beyond belief now. And there was this guy called Josh that basically broke the internet. Like Chris is now doing, and many others are doing it. Like this guy called Josh. And anyway, he used to work with Houston. I'm going to get Houston on the show. We'll find out. Anyway, so I'm going off track here. So let's go.
I'd be so interested to see how different these conversations are than with me, because I just feel like, I feel very honored to be added on, but I definitely don't feel like I'm as intentional, or like, I don't know. I feel like they're in a different cohort to me, if that makes sense. Like they're posting sort of these quotes and everything. It's just not. It's nothing like my brand.
Yeah. All right. Look, I can't believe this is actually really fun. Like I can't believe
you are right though, because I feel like I am guilty of looking at my own profile like quite a lot, just at like 12 in the evening, just having sort of studying it again and again. You do see it in a different light. It's like just jumping on a FaceTime with someone that you haven't met and just going through it. It's great.
Yeah. So as we if you're watching this or you see this recorded back, let us know what you learned from this conversation, or what you've taken away, or what more you want to see when I do these, because I'm going to be doing a lot of them. Because I used to do a podcast, got it up to probably about 50 shows. I never promoted it, but it gave me access. Like you get that, right? Like you get to people that you wouldn't necessarily. But I lost my way with it, and I needed a spark of an idea that motivated me again and re-engaged. And this is why this has come about. And also I wanted to do a different format than the standard interview, right? So this is kind of where we got it. But anyway, this is about you. So tell us, last 30 seconds, a minute before we wrap up. What are you most proud of in 2024, and what are you most hopeful for 2025?
2024 is definitely accepting myself as a founder. Like I sort of alluded to earlier, I think it's a really glamorized thing nowadays being a founder. people see all the quick successes online and everything. And I think from speaking to so many people, I was kind of scared away from it for a while by the reality of it. And I think I finally found out that this is a problem worth solving. I'm 23 years old, and if I don't do it now, I'm going to lose touch of the problem I'm trying to solve. And I think I'm equipped with everything to do it in my own way. So definitely proud of taking that jump. And then 2025, I think it's actually building on this foundation, right? Like, I think the foundation is really nice, but there's so much to be done. And ultimately, I think at the moment I'm not actually helping people get into jobs yet, and I think that's the real next step. 2025. How can I transfer all this awareness and audience that I've grown and actually get them into work?
I love it. Well, mate, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. You've been listening to the LinkedIn Teardown with James Ski and Peter Wood. Make sure you give Peter a follow. Go check out the Graduate Guide, and let's get him back in a year's time and see how he's progressed.
James, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Cheers, mate. Bye.
Bye.